Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I am your host, Zoe, with Cantu on the other side. Episode 218, American League Wild Card Series preview. Postseason baseball is back in Houston, Texas. Of course, baseball all around. What a crazy day of baseball. It was, honestly.
Yeah.
Crazy
Did you
day.
watch did you watch those double headers between the
Get to watch
Mets
both of them, but
and the Braves? But those were games that had so much value to both teams. It was a three-way tie in the National League wild card with the Braves, the Mets, and the Arizona Diamondbacks. But we'll get to more on that. But yeah, crazy day for some baseball, and then tomorrow will be even a crazier day because postseason baseball's back. And as we were working this outline, we were looking at the matchups, and I would say all four games are going to be really competitive, really really amazing slate MLB has tomorrow.
yeah, it's going to be a crazy day. But who doesn't like having crazy? It's like, March Madness with, of course, with all the NCAA college basketball schools. You got the college football playoff now with its new format of 12 playoff teams in the in the playoff bracket. Postseason baseball, of course, is up there. I think it's one of the best compared to like the NBA to NFL. And the thing with NFL, obviously, you lose one game and you're out of the whole. Your season ends. Baseball, you live to fight another day. And it starts with this American League wild card. The Astros haven't played a wild card angel since 2015.
Yeah.
2015 has been the last time that the Astros have been in the wild card. Ever since they've won, they haven't played until the division. Now with the bye, of course, too. But yeah, wild card series. You go back to 2015, the Astros and the Yankees. You only had to win one game.
Yeah.
Just think of that for a second. Like tomorrow could be a one-game series against these two teams, and Detroit's throwing out their, probably going to be the favorite Cy Young to win the award this year for the American League, and Triple Crown winner Tarik Skubal. And then you got Framber Valdez, who's been pitching really good the second half, which I honestly think he'll be the runner-up for the Cy Young for the American League this year too. So crazy games for tomorrow, like you had mentioned, but got the topics to decide. Astros 24 season, Astros Awards. We'll give out our little awards. Of course, it's not sponsored by anybody, but hey, if you want to sponsor, let us know. We can throw out a little of them trophies real quick. American League Wild Card Game 1 preview. Who's in, who's out. The rosters haven't been set yet, so we'll project the 26-man roster coming up. Astros workout day. I was there in attendance. And, of course, around the horn. Josh was on the chat. What's going on? And he even said it himself, too. I still call the Cleveland team the Indians. I hate the Guardians name, of course. I think everybody in general just hates that name. Unless you like it. I mean, to me, Indians is probably like the best from all.
Yeah. I mean, I agree.
Yeah, but we got a full slate to talk about. We won't take an hour. Thank God. I'll be honest with you, Angel. An hour of these episodes has been going too crazy. It'll probably be like around 30 to 45 minutes. Hopefully.
We like to talk sometimes, so I don't know.
We like to debate on this show as well. And of course, the audience engagement as well, because it's going to be crazy. Because tomorrow is October, isn't? Yeah, October 1st tomorrow.
Yeah.
But before we get started, let everybody know where they can see us.
Absolutely. We can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Oh, not Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, wherever you may be on your phone, whatever app you like the most, we are there. So if you want to know those ads, they're in the bottom of the ticker, but let's get the show on the road.
Yes, definitely. And we won't talk about too much of that series against Cleveland. The only thing, maybe the Astros only played 161 games this year. Not 162, 161. So that'll be a great trivia question for, some bars out there that want to use that.
As a Pluckers trivia question.
Yeah, how many, what are the two teams that only played 161 games in a season? They're right there, Astros and Guardians. But yeah, we'll just slowly and just not too much of it. Talk about that series. Astros won game 1. Well, really, they won both games, so they won the whole series. I guess the mini sweep as well. Ronel Blanco just continues to do what Ronel Blanco has done this whole season. 13-6. He finished with his record with a 2.80 ERA, which is second in the American League, which is really phenomenal.
Yeah.
A number 5 starter in a rotation is second in ERA in the American League. Of course, 166 strikeouts, had a no hitter, lowest hit per 9 innings with a 6.1, 29 games in his professional career as a starter this season, which is obviously he's already gone over his innings pitch. And look at that, 29 games as a starter. So, yeah, he did a really good job. Just to add a little bit more stats too, he led MLB in opponent batting average with 193, hits per nine with a 626 among American League pitchers. I mean, he ranks second in ERA, like I mentioned before. Um, this is a guy I think, and we'll give our awards in a minute, as one of the guys that saved your season. And best
Yeah.
believe this is like he's the guy, like I mentioned, he's been the savior of the team, honestly. Not just the
Yeah.
rotation, the whole organization.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a guy that, without his success early on, this is a team that's probably not hitting the wild card, especially like not even winning the division. So I think the fact that,
Maybe not even in the postseason.
yeah, so I'm saying like that's what I'm saying, like not even in the wild card, not even in the postseason, because without Ronel Blanco, this season could have gone south real quick. It did. It did go south real quick, but the fact that guys like Ronel Blanco, guys like Yannier Diaz stepping up, Spencer Arrighetti, they were able to hang on, stay afloat, stay above water, and just swim and just keep tacking on until they got where they needed to be. Once that full team was at full strength, it was, I mean, you saw it was all she wrote.
7-19 record was the beginning of this season. Astros go on, like you mentioned, win the American League West. Now we're in the postseason, and honestly, credit to Blanco. He's been the guy that really had held that glue and that rotation together, I would say.
Absolutely.
Because of course you had your little, I mean, not saying that Blanco pitched the whole season really well, because there was a little bit of stints here and there that he didn't pitch the best. But of course, Hunter Brown didn't start off really well. Framber Valdez was a little shaky. And then you're losing pitchers too due to injuries. So Ronel Blanco has been that guy that's really been, he's one of the ones that's been healthy all season.
Absolutely.
So credit to him. Let's go on with game 2 real quick. Justin Verlander. That's a quality start in the books, Angel. Quality start in the books for him to end his season, possibly maybe the last game he ever pitches in the Astro uniform in his career. 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, and no walks, 5 strikeouts. He finished the season with a 5.6 record. He only started 17 games, 5.48 ERA. So that is his highest since his rookie year. Wow.
Crazy. Yeah.
Another great trivia question right there. But did throw 90 innings, so he will not qualify for that vesting option. And of course, too, the Mets on their end, they don't have to pay anything out of pocket for Verlander coming up. So Verlander will be a free agent after this year. Of course, maybe Verlander does come back. In my opinion, I just do not see it. But what he did in an Astros uniform, that's very unforgettable, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you have to give that man his roses. Helped the Astros win the first World Series and then helped them win another. I mean, his time with the Astros, it's been a great one. Do you think at this point, I know we had this debate a little while ago, but if you were to go to the Hall of Fame, what cap is he rocking?
Now that's the thing that's just the difficult part. I would say the Astros, just for the fact that he's had a lot of success here. 17 World Series champion, 18, of course, being in that good rotation that the Astros had, 19 winning a Cy Young, going back to the World Series as well. 20 he didn't pitch, 21 he didn't pitch, 22 winning another World Series, and did he win another Cy Young actually with the Astros in one of those years?
So I'm like, I have a stats pulled up right now.
Okay, go
he
ahead.
spent 13 years with Detroit, 7 years with Houston. Won a rookie year in 2006. And then won Cy Young with Detroit. That was when he won the MVP in 2011. And he won 2 Cy Youngs with Houston. He won it in 2019 and 2022.
See, okay. So 2019 I had correctly. 2022 on the other hand, that's what I was trying to figure out if it was that season. But I got too caught up in Framber Valdez's success in the postseason during that time. But yeah, two 2 Cy Youngs, threw a couple no hitters as well.
Do you remember his ERA when he won it in 2022?
190 something.
1.75.
Yeah, that's
Crazy.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the same thing with in 2019 too. Him and Garrett Cole. If Verlander wasn't up for it, Cole would have honestly won that in the landslide.
Yeah.
But I don't know his ERA. But to answer the question, I just do see him going into the Hall of Fame with the Astros cap on. Yes, he did start his journey 13 years, gone to the playoffs with Detroit. But I feel like, and of course, we're not going to make the decision. He's going to make the decision on his own. He found a lot more success being in Houston, winning World Series, all that type of stuff. So, I mean, my opinion, that's what I would think.
I wouldn't be surprised if he has a Detroit.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
there's no wrong answer. Yeah, there's no wrong answer.
Either or, I mean, both of us can agree he's going to go to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Period. But the question is, which hat do you wear? And then two, you don't even have to have a hat.
Yeah.
I think there's a player in the Hall of Fame that doesn't have a hat on.
Yeah.
Or if he does have the hat, it just doesn't.
No, yeah, he has a hat on. It's just there's no logo on it. It's just a plain hat.
Unless you're gonna be like Nolan Ryan that pitched 2 seasons or 3 seasons with the Rangers and then went to the Hall of Fame with them. Never know what can happen. But yeah, I think honestly, I just do not see the Astros re-signing Verlander next year. If anything, maybe the vet minimum, but I think his tenure with Houston is does come to an end.
Yeah, I think so too. It's just unless he gives the team discount, which I don't see it happening. We didn't do it earlier. You know, I'm sure it just runs out about his Benjamins, and I wouldn't be surprised. If it wouldn't shock me though if he retires. I doubt. That's
what I thought too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it happening, but I wouldn't be surprised either. However, I wouldn't be surprised either. Hot take here.
Oh.
Reunion back to Detroit.
I could see it too. I could see it.
Imagine Justin Verlander with that young pitching squad.
I could see it happen. I honestly could see it. I mean, not even think about it until like you mentioned it right now. That makes completely sense.
Yep. So I mean, familiar with AJ Hinch, obviously longtime Detroit Tiger. Mm-hmm. If we get a good deal, I think he'll make this. He'll be back wearing a Detroit Tigers uniform.
Yeah, we'll just have to see in the offseason. That's going to be the beauty of it. We'll have more on that. Of course, we won't record like twice or 3 times a week. To be once a week. So just giving everybody a heads up. But let's talk about Zach DeZenzo before we end this series off about the Cleveland Guardians and the 24th season. The Ohio product, the Ohio State guy, went back over there to Cleveland, Ohio, went 4 for 10 with a home run, couple of RBIs too. So that was a great sign to see him get some knocks in, especially with family in attendance. I'm pretty sure friends, maybe even some former players and coaches that he's played with from the past years over there at Ohio State. So it was pretty good to see him get a home run. Fun fact, if you didn't know, DeZenzo did not recover his first major league home run in Boston. I did ask him that.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, they couldn't retrieve the ball. They couldn't find it. So, fun fact for everybody that didn't know, he did not get his ball back whenever they were in Boston.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I think to go ahead if you want to.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say to finish this off, 161. That rain out on what was it, Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
Very, very crucial. I would say for more of the Astros.
Oh, absolutely.
The Guardians have that bye week. The Astros, though, on the other hand, of course, they weren't going to throw the big relievers in that game, nor their big starters, or even put their biggest players. But gives everybody an extra day off.
Absolutely.
That's what really helped, I think, with the rain. Mother Nature went out there and said, you know what? Let's pour it down. And then they gave it like a little delay. An hour later, let's continue just raining on this field. Progressive field looks like that grass needs to be growing. And sure enough, they canceled the game. Like we had mentioned, this is 161 games. Sad part for Cleveland, though, on the other hand, Jose Ramirez will not try to see if he gets a 40-40 season, which I thought that would have been cool for him.
Yeah.
But Astros specific wise, very beneficial for that team not getting to play on Sunday because now you have 2 full days off.
It's like a mini bye week because honestly, if you think about it, uh, if the Astros or like whoever's in the wild card sweep, the ones who get a bye just get 3 days because then they'll
Yeah.
play the following day. So we potentially like a mini bye week there for them.
Yeah, because if it goes game 1 Tuesday, game 2 Wednesday, and I believe game 3, if necessary, is on Thursday as well, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's very beneficial for the Astros. The Tigers did play on Sunday. They did lose against the Chicago White Sox, but for the Astros, like we were mentioning, we knew they weren't going to play their biggest players or like the biggest starters or relievers in that game. But at the same time, too, somebody has to pitch. And
Yeah.
Ryan Gusto, unfortunately for him, I would say he was going to make his major league debut, and that was going to be his first major league start in his career. Um, but yeah, fresh arms, fresh legs, everybody's fresh. I would say going into this wild card series.
Absolutely. Well, before we give you that preview coming up for the AL Wild Card, let's start with Astros awards. And this was a tough one. It was a tough one. Astros MVP. Who do you guys know?
I think we just preached them earlier on the show. You got to give it a Ronel Blanco.
Yeah.
Save the season. I'm not going to go too much because I already have went too much on him when we're talking about him. But kid throws a no-hitter in his first game, his first start this season, and just found a lot of success being in that rotation. So excited to see how he looks in the bullpen if he does, if the Astros do plan to move him out there.
Yeah, for me, although to me, Ronel Blanco completely deserves it. Like honestly, it's like without him, like we said, there's probably no season. But I'm gonna go with Jordan Alvarez, and here's my reason behind that. Jordan Alvarez at the lead, led the team in OPS, home runs, RBIs, right, and all that good stuff. Now that's expected of Jordan Alvarez, right? He's their best player. That's expected. However, the way that offense was inconsistent throughout the year, I felt like Jordan Alvarez was the only guy you can sometimes just count on to get this lineup out of a funk. And you saw that when he wasn't in the lineup, it was hard for them to score runs. And when he came back, it was like they kind of clicked a little bit. So without Jordan Alvarez in the lineup, just like how Ronel Blanco without in that pitching staff, the Astros probably will not make it a wild card. Like the reason why they were able to have so much success without Kyle Tucker is because obviously the pitching, but guys like Yannier Diaz, Jordan Alvarez, Jose Altuve stepped up. But having Jordan Alvarez in that lineup kind of puts some respect on this Astros lineup for other pitchers because they know that's the guy that they can beat. Like that's the guy they're gonna walk. They're gonna pitch around because they don't want to mess with that guy because they know every time that he steps up is a threat. So I'd say he was the only consistent part of that lineup and throughout the whole season, and that is why he's my Astros MVP. Really carried the offense.
Yeah, you really can't go. You really can't go against both those guys. Like I said, Jordan Alvarez being the guy that's been kind of the one that's been consistent. Of course, he didn't get to finish the whole season, but offensively, taking kind of care of Kyle Tucker being out. I mean, he was one of the biggest guys to be in that lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. And I put this other award, Astros Pitcher of the Year. That's one that again could be a coin flip too. Just to change it up, I do have Ronel Blanco. Just what of everything that we said about him throughout the entire season. You know the stats. We preached about him, like you said. Lorenzo did too for the MVP, and just without him, it seems a different matchup. What do you have for Pitcher of the Year?
So for me, I mean, it's kind of difficult because you want either or, and I mean it was a tough decision, but I got Hunter Brown. I would say for Framber Valdez, you expect from an ace to perform at an ace level. I'm not saying that Framber Valdez is not an ace or didn't perform at the part that he's supposed to, but you expect it from him. And Hunter Brown going into year 3, second full season, You needed somebody that was going to step up, especially with all the injuries going down. Christian Javier, Jose Urquidy, JP France. We can name all these other injuries from these starters. And Hunter Brown did not start off in the beginning of the season very well. Remember, the guy only recorded 2 outs in 1 inning at KC in April. That shit just snap of a finger. After being in that bullpen relief in Detroit, his season changed. I mean, I have a little bit of the stats. Tied for wins since June 1. He's 11-4. Tied with wins with Jose Barrios. ERA. And first, it's Framber Valdez. Second, it's Hunter Brown with 231. Opponent slugging. Framber Valdez leads that category too, 279. Hunter Brown, 300. So, yes, we did preach about Ronel Blanco saving the season and the rotation. But at the same time, too, the pitchers like Framber Valdez, the Hunter Browns, you still need a rotation to go out and try to get you to the postseason. Framber Valdez did that in the second half, but Hunter Brown's been kind of doing that ever since. He's kind of finally started to take that responsibility, take that full role of being a starter. And that is why one of the biggest reasons the Astros never wanted to trade him, because they saw the potential in him. Alex Bregman had saw potential in him, helping out what kind of pitch you can throw in a situation. Developing that sinker has helped him a lot. His arsenal that he throws has helped really big time throughout this whole season. So, yeah, you got to go Hunter Brown. Framber Valdez was a close first, but yeah, Hunter Brown's going to be the guy for me.
Honestly, that one could be a 3-way tie too.
Yeah,
Ronel Blanco, Framber Valdez. Like, I feel like there's no right or wrong answers in that one because
shit. Even you say Kikuchi was getting on the board almost, dude.
Yeah,
just imagine if the trade deadline did not happen. If he was with the Astros for a full season, Kikuchi could probably be getting some Cy Young votes.
Absolutely. I mean, that's been the bread and butter for the Astros this season. Great pitching. Like, even when the offense couldn't muster much runs, the pitching was something you can count on, especially at bullpen too.
Yeah.
And Astros Rookie of the Year. I think this was a consensus pick for all of us. Honestly, I think it's pretty unanimous. He stole Houston. He finished with a 7-13 record. SB Spencer Rigetti. Is that your pick too?
Yes, the spaghetti man. Yeah, really great job this season. Yes, it wasn't the start that he was hoping. Yes, there were some inconsistent starts here and there, but yeah, I mean, there's really no other rookie, I would say, in the Astros organization. But Spencer Rigetti was the guy that really helped out the rotation a lot. Winning American League Rookie of the Month in August too. That month it just itself was really incredible. And then among rookie pitchers, he only trailed Paul Skeens. Just imagine if he would have started in the very, very beginning. That number could have been, them two numbers could be changed. He could have been first, Skeens could have been second. So Arrighetti is like the promising guy that the Astros were hoping this season. He was the number one pitching prospect before the season started. And he really showed why. He has a lot of good swing and miss stuff, a lot of whiff on his fastball. And he's just done a really incredible job. I'm very looking forward to his growth, not just in this postseason, but after this year as well, to see what he's going to look like for next year.
Yeah, he has great stuff. That strikeout pitch, really good. Being able to mix his pitches. Since I'm looking at his game stats right there. Since June 26, he only had 3 games where he didn't pitch over 5 innings, and that was July 2nd. That was September 4th and September 27th. Other than that, 5 or more innings. And then remember, he had that stretch of 12 strikeouts and 13 strikeouts. And then in that month, he also had 11 strikeouts as well. So the future is bright for Spencer Rigetti. I think if he can figure out a little bit of the command, work on what he needs to refine in the offseason, he's going to be pretty good. And I'm curious to see how he's going to be coming out of the bullpen this postseason.
Well, you did get a glimpse of it, of that the last series with the Astros. Yes, he did get his first career ejection. We didn't even get to mention that, which is not very important, but still, he did come out of the bullpen. He didn't do a bad job. Did have a little bit more walks than he probably wanted to, but I think that was just giving him a taste, giving him a feel of what can be happening this coming October, because they're going to really need him. They're going to really need Blanco if they're going to want to get back on top and go back to the Fall Classic.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's gonna be him and Ronel Blanco are gonna be instrumental for that bullpen. Like, especially you have a short leash in the offseason. Like, for example, if Framber Valdez is struggling or Kikuchi's struggling one of those outings, having Spencer Rigetti and Ronald Blanco in that bullpen gives you, all right, if you can only do 3 innings, fine. I got Ronald Blanco is going to throw me another 3, another 4, right? So those guys are going to be crucial for the offseason.
Yep.
And then our last award to be Astros Offense Player of the Year. Just to change it up a little bit, I had Jose Altuve for that one. 2020 season, first time since 2017 when he won his MVP. He had 185 hits. That's the most hits he's had since 2017 as well. So the fact is like kind of a little resurgence for Jose Altuve and the type of the lineup. Obviously, he batted under 300, but I mean 295. I'm sure he wants over 300, but any team will take that any day. Really good season for him. Being a table setter out there, really turn around. A lot more walks this time too, 47 walks as well. So I would say he's my offensive MVP.
Yeah, I mean, 2020 season, you automatically, I think that would be my MVP too. But we like to change it up, and for me, it's going to be Yainer Diaz.
That's a good one.
What he has done in his first full season as the best Astros catcher, not the backup, he did a really good job. And a lot of people were expecting that bat to be in the line. They were expecting a lot of power, I would say. I know for me in the beginning of the season, you were looking for more of about 25 to 30 home runs because he had 26 last year, and that was being on the bench.
Yep.
Just imagine a full season
23.
of Yainer Diaz. Yeah, 23. Just imagine a full season of Yainer and see what he's capable of doing, not just defensively, which he had really great defensive numbers, didn't let it get passed by, I think maybe 3 or 4, I would say, but that's still a good number. Offensively, though, since this is the offensive award, 299 as a catcher, unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
That's honestly Buster Posey,
Exactly.
Musa numbers right there.
Exactly. And just think about it too. He could have had gone over 300 because he was going to be the starter on Sunday's game of game 162.
Yeah.
So there could have been a chance that he could have been 300, or there could have been a chance that he goes, he stays at 299, 298. But 16 home runs, 84 RBIs. He's just second to, who was your MVP? Yordan Alvarez, 86 RBIs. And Yainer had 84. Tip your cap to him. Yes, the swing and the chase rate, of course, is going to be there. He's very aggressive, but the aggressiveness, too, does really well. I mean, look at Altuve. His aggressiveness at the plate, 2020 strikeouts, his strikeout number actually this season wasn't it was pretty high. It wasn't like very low like the other ones, but what he's done this season, he kind of improved on his walk rate. The strikeout rate was still a little high, but I'm looking at Baseball Savant real quick. 74 percentile on the strikeout rate, 5 percentile, which is not really well, on his walk rate. You go back to last year, 65 was his K rate. His walk rate was 1%. That is very poor. So what he did, yes, the strikeout was pretty high, but at the same time, too, he kind of learned into taking a little bit more pitches here and there, battle counts. And to me, I think he did a really good job. Of course, he's still going to have to improve on that. This is going to be his 3rd year coming up with the Astros coming next year. So, yeah, did a really good job when they needed somebody to be in that 3, 4, 5 spot, which to me, he looks really comfortable in that 4 spot. He did really good.
Yainer Diaz caught 882 innings, 1 pass ball.
One pass ball, you see.
And it came late, September 8th. I'm sorry, September 5th was when it happened. So,
yeah, I mean, the guy's a wall behind the plate. He does have a great arm, too. A decent pop time, I would say, too, behind, as a catcher. But Astros Offensive Award, I got to go with Yainer.
I like it. Again, that one could have gone to anybody, too. I feel like with these Astros Awards, could have gone to a lot of people. If Kyle Tucker would have stayed healthy, I would have been another name thrown out there for Offensive Player of the Year too. possibly an MVP.
Great
But
year overall for all these players.
we're gonna change it up a little bit. You know what? I'm gonna take over the pitching preview this time. I know Lorenzo, that's Lorenzo's bread and butter right there. But
No, you saved my voice. I think they hear good there. Hear good there.
now I'm not gonna really speak too much. I'm not gonna go into detail because the name speaks for themselves. But game one is must see TV. Pitching triple crown winner Tarik Skubal versus Framber Valdez. I don't even have to say the stats because those names already come out as eye popping. They had great seasons. Like Lorenzo said earlier, Tarik Skubal potentially a Cy Young Award winner. Framber Valdez easily could have been a runner up. The first pitcher to falter is to be the one who loses this game.
Yeah,
it's like that simple. It's going to be like if you're a fan of great pitching, this is a game to watch. And it's, I mean, I'm sure the Astros don't care, I'm sure the Tigers don't care, but it's crazy that this matchup right here is a 1:00 game. This could have been prime time because both pitchers are nasty, and it's gonna be literally the offense that can take advantage of at least one mistake. It's gonna be the difference.
Yeah, I'll just add a little bit. Tarik Skubal, 2.39 ERA.
There he goes. That's the
Framber Valdez, 2.91. He's third. Blanco's second. Skubal's first. Of course, like Angel was saying, Triple Crown, it's ERA, wins, and strikeouts. So Tarik Skubal led the American League in wins with 18. Framber Valdez with 15, and the strikeouts 200 plus, 228. He finished the season leading in that category. So, yeah, this is going to be a fun one, honestly. Yes, primetime baseball, this should have been the game because of the pitching matchup right there. But, of course, you know, things happen. Maybe both guys like pitching in the day. I mean, I don't know. I don't know who goes into scheduling the games and all that type of stuff. But there was a video that I saw on social, and it was Alex Bregman on an interview after the 2018 ALDS in Cleveland, and he was like, he had made like a funny reference. He said, "Does Tiger Woods tee off at 1:00, like basically the time that they were playing? It was like it was an afternoon game." And he is like, Tiger Woods, and then he goes on to, man, who was the other reference that he used? He used another guy too, and he's like, they want to see the Astros in primetime baseball. We'll just wait till the ALCS. But my point is, like you had mentioned, two of the best starting pitchers in the American League are playing at 1:00. What are we doing, MLB? What are we doing? What are we doing? I don't know if it's the West Coast times over there in San Diego, but I you know, for me, you got to make a better schedule on that, especially with this matchup going on.
Okay, just to show how great Tarik Skubal is, he led MLB in wins, win-loss percentage, ERA, strikeouts, ERA plus, FIP as well. Just unreal season.
Yeah, just a great player.
Now, if we're looking at game 2, game 3 starters again, they are still to be determined. We'll find out in the morning. Tomorrow, we'll be at the park giving you first-hand news from that, so we'll let you know who the game 2 starter is. My prediction is gonna be Hunter Brown for game 2, and then if necessary for game 3, it'll be Yusei Kikuchi again. That's my prediction as well. Now, I think the Astros are pretty set with their starters. Like, they know ballpark, they know who they are. However, this was AJ Hinch on his pitching plans. Tarik Skubal tomorrow. No, this is a quote. Tarik Skubal tomorrow and pitching chaos the rest of the way.
Yeah.
I'd say if the Astros could take game 1, they have a great chance to take game 2 just because, the pitching matchup. However, we're talking about this off air, and you made a great point. Lorenzo said that AJ Hinch and the Tigers manage bullpen games really well. Like, they're really analytical. They know who they want at this time, who's coming up at this time. So I'm not saying it's going to be an easy matchup, but it's doable. I think if you just got to do what you got to do in game 1, and then you have the advantage in game 2.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the kid's name at Detroit. Like we mentioned, Tarik Skubal is going to be game 1, like he mentioned, and pitching chaos after that. Game 2, I'm looking towards more of, I'm trying to figure out the kid's first name. It's Holter his last name. I think it's Brad. I think it starts with a B. I know that, but
Mhm.
I just don't have it right in front of me. I was looking for it, but I can't find it. But like we are mentioning, I mean, Hinch does a really good job. Why do you think they've been doing this since what, August?
Yeah.
Shit, they've been doing a great job doing this. Not putting a starter up. It could be Casey Mize. It could be Jackson Jobe, who they just brought up their number one pitching prospect in their farm system. Highly doubt it, but you never know what can happen. This is baseball. But AJ Hinch and that staff does a really phenomenal job getting the pitching matchups that they want, getting the pitchers that they want in this inning or in that inning. If the Astros get Tarik Skubal or Tarik, that's how you say his first name, out of the game in the fourth inning, I think even the fifth inning, you did a great job right there.
Yeah.
Do not let him go 6 or 7 innings because you're just letting that bullpen rest more and more. Foley is their closer. That's going to be in the ninth if they have the lead. And just think about that. Skubal of 7 innings, 7-inning baseball, only have to throw maybe a setup man, and then they go to Foley for their closer. That bullpen is rested.
Yeah.
So the game plan for the Astros in this series, get the Skubal early. Like I said, the fifth inning is going to be your best chance. I highly doubt you could get them out of the fourth, but your fifth inning is the best chance, and then you'll go after that bullpen, and possibly you could tax it up all the way on to game 2, and if necessary, game 3. So, yeah, I mean, Hinch does that organization in general just does a really good job when it comes to the pitching matchups.
Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting series. Hot team in Detroit.
Mhm.
They're on a roll. They have some pesky hitters out there. They're gonna put up some great at bats. So like they're not gonna give in. Like
No.
they're in the wild card for a reason. A lot of people are saying that both the Royals and Detroit are there because they beat up on the White Sox, but they're in the wild card for a reason. This is a team that's gonna, battle tooth and nail up there. They're not gonna give in. They're gonna be fouling on pitches. The moving players over. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a sacrifice bunt from them either. This is a team that's gonna fight you to the end, and Astros cannot take that lightly. I'm sure they don't. It's postseason baseball. This is where they tend to shine up, but it's gonna become a. I think one of these games is come up with a big swing. I feel like this series is kind of reminding me of the Seattle Mariners series a few years ago.
Yeah,
where Jordan Alvarez was one swing in a bat and the things. I think that's just coming down to because honestly, they're both really good teams.
Yeah, it's no cakewalk. I'll tell you that right now. Just for Astro fans, just think about that team in 2015. Nobody thought that team was going to beat the Yankees at Yankee Stadium against Masahiro Tanaka. Yes, credit to Dallas Keuchel. Keuchel had a hell of a season that year too. But you're on the road in your first playoff game since 2005. You really thought the Astros were going to go out there and especially shut out the Yankees at Yankee Stadium? No. But look where we're at now. Look, the Yankee and Astro rivalry in the postseason. But to give a little bit of info on this Tigers team, since June 1, they have the second best record in the American League, 58-47. Who do they trail?
Astros.
The Houston Astros, 63-40. So, yes, they don't have the superstar names in that lineup like the Astros do with Jose Altuve, Yordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker, but they got grit. They got grit, and they will do whatever they can. And this is the little Tiger thing. They will claw their way to doing whatever they can to win that game. Riley Green was an all-star this year. Spencer Torkelson. I'm probably missing a little bit more. Wenzel Perez
added it.
Yeah, Kerry Carpenter. Matt Vierling, the guy that looked at the ball over the batter's eye in the 2022 Game 6 World Series and when Alvarez hit that ball. So, the Nationals just can't take them lightly. They're going to have to play this team like if it was a Game 7, like a World Series game.
Yeah. And Game 1 in this series is crucial because you don't want to be with your backs behind the wall.
Yeah.
Game 2. So
especially at your own ballpark as well.
Yeah.
Which the Astros have done a better job this season.
I think there's a tweet. Let me see if I can find it real quick by Brian McTaggart about Astros at home.
Oh, I got it right here.
You got it right there?
Right now. Home record, 46-35. Last year, it was a losing record. So they did a better job. Road records are 41-38. Yeah, 41-38. Home records, 46-35. So
Yeah, there was another one. Give me a second.
yeah, go ahead.
Um, dang it. I think, I think it was along the lines that the Astros had. Oh, there, I found it. Astros have lost 5 consecutive home playoff games.
Yes, that is also true.
They won 15 of 20 home playoff games prior to that. So a little stretch there. So something's gonna have to give in. This will be an interesting matchup. 1:32 p.m. That's when you'll be able to see that.
What a weird time too. 1:32.
Yeah,
All right, just do it 1:30. What is the 2 minutes gonna do?
I think it's time for like the national anthem, all the pregame ceremonies and stuff.
So they've been doing that for how many years, and now they want to add 2 minutes to 1:30.
I don't know, commercials, and maybe it gets to, you know,
Oh, I forgot. Are they supposed to have the helmets too with that sponsor on it,
I
Strauss?
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Oh,
crazy too to see.
never mind. I'll say this around the horn. Yeah.
You're gonna say for around the horn.
Yeah. So for around.
Yes, please, because we are at 41 minutes, and we promised everybody it was gonna be 45. But hey, when it's October baseball, you just gotta get pumped. You just gotta get pumped, and we gotta figure out, be an angel, who's in, who's out for this postseason roster. So for guaranteed for sure, these are the 22 players we both believe that will be on the roster. And the infielders, you got Yainer Diaz, Victor Caratini, John Singleton, Mauricio Dubon, Jose Altuve, Jerry Pena, Alex Bregman. Outfielders, Jake Myers, Chas McCormick, Kyle Tucker, Jason Hayward, Yordan Alvarez, which it's a 50-50 decision if he'll be on the postseason roster, but we'll find out later. Like Angel said, we'll find out tomorrow morning. Pitchers, Framber Valdez, Hunter Brown, Yusei Kikuchi, and then your bullpen, Josh Hader, Ryan Presley, Brian Abreu, Hector Neris, Ronel Blanco, Spencer Arrighetti, and Caleb Ferguson. Them are 22 players I just announced right there. This is a 26-man roster when it comes to the postseason. So we named 22. We got to add 4 players. Angel, I'm gonna let you go first. Who do you think the 4 players have a shot? And here's the players that I had drawn down for both of us: Justin Verlander, Zach DeZenzo, Brian King, Shade Whitcomb, Cesar Salazar, Seth Martinez, Taylor Scott.
You want to pick 4 of those?
4 of those guys, or it could be 4 other. I mean,
I'm gonna say
what other players are?
if Justin Verlander agrees to come from the bullpen, that's gonna be another bullpen piece. Justin Verlander.
Mhm.
I would say he has Zach DeZenzo in there just as a like emergency backup or pitching replacement late in the game or something like that, like position replacement. I will say Taylor Scott. He had a great season. I would say add him. And lastly, Cesar Salazar, third catcher. The reason is John Singleton is a platoon guy. So what we've been noticing is that either Dubon or even Caratini and Diaz have been playing first base. I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to happen again. So having that third catcher, you know, I mean, I hope it doesn't happen, right? But an injury to your catcher, you're going to need someone there to, you know, be there for that. So Salazar's going to be the guy there.
I did forgot to mention Gray Kessinger is on that list of
Yeah.
players who have a shot. I forgot to say his name on there, even put the name on there. Hey, you don't got faith in Mauricio Dubon? You don't think he has a catcher's mitt somewhere, just in case if something?
Not ideal. I'm sure he does, but not ideal.
But yeah, players who have a shot, man. I'll go Cesar Salazar, like you had mentioned already. I think that's very crucial for them to have 3 catchers on the depth chart. And recently, like I have told you off air, you've been seeing a lot of Victor Caratini at first base now. It's been John Singleton and Caratini. I'm pretty sure Yainer has gotten some starts here and there. Same thing goes for Mauricio Dubon. But as of late, it looked like Caratini and Singleton have been out there. So Cesar Salazar. Taylor Scott, we don't have the info on him if he's prolonged or if his injury has recovered and he's done better. So we'll say if everything has gone well, then yes, Taylor Scott's going to be on that list for me. Caleb Bort's another one.
Mm-hmm.
That's another guy we didn't even mention. But Caleb Bort, just has a great velocity on his fastball. It's a pitch that a lot of pitchers whiff on. I'm not pitchers, players in the batter's box. Excuse me. So I'll go Caleb Bort, Cesar Salazar, Taylor Scott. I'll go Gray Kessinger because Kessinger has been the guy always on the postseason roster. I mean, I don't know. Everybody remembers that catch he made in Game 6 or Game 5 of the ALCS last year. So for infield depth, that is the reason. Catching depth, you'll have Cesar Salazar. Of course, having Mauricio Dubon being that utility man going the infield and outfield, I think he'll take an additional outfield spot, given the spot to Greg Kessinger. And last but not least, like you had mentioned, Taylor Scott. Maybe Taylor Scott too. He's been dealing with, well, obviously he's gone a lot of innings pitched this season, his career. Maybe he just needed a fresh breather. Of course, he was going through that. I think the injury was a thoracic spine, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have it right in front of me.
I think thoracic spine, right?
Thoracic spine. Yeah, something like that. Back problem. Let's just say that. So maybe he gets a breather from that time and recovered well, and maybe his arm is fresh going into the postseason. I just don't think Justin Verlander. I just don't see it. I really don't. He's only pitched one time out of the bullpen in his career, and I believe that was either in 2017 or 2019. But
if they actually make it to the ALDS, Justin Verlander in?
Yes, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Like he said, he just needs to have a little bit more time figuring out, his mechanics, his body, and all that stuff. Well, if the Astros do move on in this wild card series, he had 3 days to kind of figure it out. What, is it his mechanic issues or, the arm motion, all that.
More than 3 days.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. But if the Astros do move on, I do possibly see him going back on the roster.
We have more than 3 days because if he does make the roster, like he's looking like a Game 4 starter. So more than 3 days to get it right.
I will say, if the Astros do have to necessarily play that Game 3, and if they move on, that Game 1 starter more than likely could be Ronel Blanco. I will say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Could be. Not a bad starter too.
Nope. But that is it for the roster. Moving on real quick to the news from Astros workout day. I was in attendance for it. Of course, Espada did give out some injury updates about Yordan Alvarez and Chas McCormick. On Alvarez, he did hit in the cage today and was going to run outside on the field. We'll have more info tomorrow. Like we had mentioned, the rosters will be set 10 a.m. So more than likely the Astros will either tweet about it or we'll give y'all the insight of who made the cut and who didn't make the cut. So if everything goes well, if all the boxes are checked, because Joe Spa has been saying that lately with boxes in check, if everything's completely good, then he's going to be on the roster. I will say this. If he is on the roster, there's no way you're seeing him in the outfield. He's going to be DH the whole series. And he won't be 100%. This is just me. I just don't think he's going to be 100%, but he's going to be on that roster and possibly be able to play.
Yeah, for sure. Yordan Alvarez, not seeing if he's in. All you need is his bat. That's all you need, his bat. Mm-hmm. That Kyle Tucker, let Jake Myers, and either McCormick or Hayward do what they got to do. But yeah, that DA spot is reserved for Yordan Alvarez.
And then if somebody has to step up, I mean, you got a veteran right there with Jason Hayward, or you look towards Chas, which Chas was hitting really well. Coming back. Yeah, coming back from injury. Well, not even injury, coming back from the option from AAA. So that's another guy too. Tarik Skubal obviously is a left-handed pitcher, and Chas McCormick's numbers career-wise has been really well against left-handed pitching. Mm-hmm. Since we're on the topic of Chas McCormick, Joe Espada did say he expects Chas to be ready for the American League Wild Card Series. So I'm guessing him having the bat in his hand, being able to squeeze it, swinging it, all that type of stuff. Because if everybody remembers, he did have a small fracture on his right hand. So it looks very promising and optimistic for the Astros that he's going to be on the roster.
Yeah. Good news for that.
Yes.
Good news for that.
Yes. But a couple of quotes from workout day. I had mentioned, and I did see if you were on Twitter, I did have put on Twitter as well. But Joe spot on Framber Valdez coming in. Quote, I expect Framber to go out there and perform the way Framber has performed the whole entire second half. He's one of the best pitchers in the league, and he wants the ball. I expect him to go out there tomorrow and give us a great start. It's going to be very crucial for that man to give a great start, like we had mentioned in the beginning of the show, because if he doesn't get a good start, you're going to the bullpen, you're using your arms, and then you're playing catch, which every Astros fan saw that in 22 of Game 1 of the ALDS. That was no fun. I think everybody's blood pressure at that time was already skyrocketing. Like no lie. I mean, I'm telling you the truth. But Joe Espada now. I'm talking about AJ Hinch, the former Astros manager, who Espada was the bench coach under him for 2 years. Quote, I'm looking forward to it. He's a good friend. We have spent a lot of our time together. I've learned a lot from AJ, but I think this series is about the Astros against the Tigers. They're playing good baseball. I'm just really looking forward to a really good series. Fun fact for everybody, because I am currently writing about this right now about AJ Hinch being back at Houston. Hinch had mentioned at his press conference that he had contacted Joe Espada after they knocked out the Yankees in the 2017 ALCS. He had a feeling that that vacancy in the bench coach was going to be open on his coaching staff, and he had called Joe and told him, just be ready for a phone call. We're going to contact you after. If you remember, after that season, the Astros did win the World Series. In the offseason, Alex Cora goes to the Red Sox because he was the bench coach at that time. Sure enough, later on, Joe Espada comes into the mix, and look where he's at now. He's managing against his mentor at this point.
Yeah.
It's a full, really good chess match. It's a full baseball circle moment, honestly.
It'd be a good chess match, too. Imagine you're learning from a guy, you got to try to outwit him, stuff like that. So again, really good chess match in that.
We've seen this from football with the Nick Saban trees, the Kyle Shanahans, Kubiaks. It's funny with football because you see that from different trees, like, the roots and all that shit. And baseball too. I mean, because it's really rare you see something like this. Hinch returning back, Verlander playing against his former team. Possibly that could be another way. Maybe he does be in the series because of his ties with Detroit. But this is going to be the first time the Astros face Detroit in the postseason in history in both franchises. Jose Altuve now. Since we're on the AJ Hinch topic, did talk about his former manager. He's the only guy on that 2015 American League Wild Card team that's still on the roster today with the Astros. Obviously, the longest tenure Astro. But Jose on him, he said, quote, he means a lot to me. I learned a lot from him. We spent a lot of time together. He's a great manager, great human being. We know we have to go out there and play hard against this team because they have a lot of talent and he knows how to manage, which he does. Another thing, too, why he brought Spada in, because of the personality and the vibe that he brought into the game and his ability to work with infielders to get the best out of them. Correa he named, Bregman he named, Altuve being the guy that he named as well. And then last but not least, I do have the video footage. If you want to look at these tweets, it's on my Twitter. My Twitter's right there. But Jose Altuve on Alex Bregman. This was very interesting. Quote, Breggy is one of the biggest players, biggest stars that has come through this organization. He has a lot of impact on all the players and fans. Like I said a few days in an interview, he makes the whole organization better than it was beforehand. Hopefully he stays here a long time and retire with the Astros. Then somebody had followed up with that, telling him, like, well, do you see management doing that? He says yes. Like, I mean, he gives a very concise and very great answer, but basically he kind of mentioned, like, it just sounded like in his voice, like, yeah, I feel like the organization and the front office could get it done with him. When you have a guy like that, dude, I don't know.
I feel like Altuve said all the right things that you expect him to say, right? I don't think he's gonna give you that, but it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be a great matchup, great games. Just got tune in to watch.
Yep, AJ Hinch back in the H.
I'm excited, just for all 4 games in general. Like for baseball, it's great. But is it time for Around the Horn? That segment of the day?
Around the Horn. No carne asada.
Yeah, no carne asada today. No carne asada. A little cold front coming in. So,
get the pozole, get the menudo, get all that stuff out.
For sure, for sure. Before I talk about the Mets and Braves epic game, All Star game. I don't know if you heard. There's gonna be a change in the All Star game. I guess they've listened to the people, and the All Star game will not have those All Star game jerseys, but the players will be playing with their either road or home uniform, so their game uniform, which I think is pretty great. I, it's great for baseball, I would say.
Yeah, I think that was the right thing to do, honestly.
Yeah.
Stay with what you've been doing traditionally throughout the years of baseball and go back to it. And they say, you know what? We're gonna listen to the people. We're gonna listen to the people.
But let's talk about the Mets and the Braves. What a game!
Hold on. Before
Go
we
ahead.
get that though, too. Also, you did forget to mention they're changing the uniforms back, the font. So you
Oh
remember how
yeah,
Majestic had
Mhm.
that,
Yeah,
and then they went to Nike, and then kind of the letters looked like it shrank. The quality of the uniform with the jerseys, like you could kind of almost see through.
yeah.
Well, they're going back to like how the majestic font and the quality of the uniforms. They're not going to majestic,
Yeah.
but the quality and the font sizes on uniforms and all that, it will
I,
come back in 2025.
I think someone got fired for that trial and error. Yeah, very fell there. But I don't know if you saw some baseball today, but it was a doubleheader, Mets and Braves, and that game one was epic. Shout out to that starter for the Braves, Showalker was his name.
Schwellenbach.
Schwellenbach. He really shut out the Mets for 6 innings, and after that, the Mets answered, uh, putting up a 6 spot late in the game. Then Francisco Lindor with an epic home run. It was a tooth and nail, haymaker to haymaker game. The Mets ended up winning. Uh, and then Chris Sale was supposed to start game two. Garrett Holmes found out 10 minutes uh, before game one ended that he was going to start that game. Has a perfect game through literally 4 innings, 7 strikeouts. Really put the pitching career, like pitching matchup of his lifetime, and the Braves, both the Braves and the Mets clinch a wild card spot. Arizona is the lone man out, and they are eliminated from the postseason.
That sucks. You can just gotta sit back at home and just see how your season, if your season continues or your season ends right there. That's just a horrible way to find out.
And then I don't know if you know, like the Mariners were 1 game back from the wild card spot.
Yep.
To the Kansas City Royals.
Yep.
Well, there was a game when Mariners had a big lead early on. That I think they put a 6 spot in the second inning, and Casey ended up winning that game 10-9. That was a different maker there against the Mariners.
And honestly, if the Mariners were in the postseason, that is a team I feel like that could be dangerous.
4 great starters. 4 great starters.
Not even 4. The whole rotation.
Yeah, I would say
Castillo, Kirby, Miller,
Gilbert,
and then Brian Wu.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's a team that and then we preached it. Postseason, and the postseason pitching really beats great hitting.
Yeah. But this Mets and Braves season game was a glimpse of what the playoffs are going to be like. This high intensity game, big bats, great pitching. So let's look at the postseason matchups for tomorrow, Tuesday. It all starts with Detroit and Houston. Then you have KC and Baltimore after that, Mets and Milwaukee, and then Atlanta and San Diego. Who do you got at the end? Like, give me that projection from the wild card all the way to the World Series.
Damn, here you're gonna put me on there, man. Shit. Okay. I'll go Houston and I'll go KC. I like KC's pitching and I like their hitting. I'm not saying their Baltimore doesn't have a good offensive team, nor their pitching, but rotation wise, I like KC's better in a best of 3 series. Next up, we got the division. Astros and Guards. I got the Astros. I think the experience is going to matter in that season. I think the only thing the Astros do not want to do is get to that bullpen of late. you get into that bullpen late, it's going to be a different story. And then the Yankees against the Royals, I think that's going to be a really great series. I already talked about the rotation for KC, but I do think the Yankees, I do think their bats beat up on their pitching. So I go Houston and the Yankees for another crazy ALCS matchup, which I think the last time they played in the ALCS was in 22. Yeah, they swept them at Yankee Stadium. So I do see that happening again. I think that left a sour taste in the whole city of New York, I would say. But I do think Houston still continues on with that going against the Yankees. The pitching situation too. They don't know how long Nestor Cortez is going to be out. Marcus Stroman has been a little better here and there, but as of late, he hasn't really pitched well. Carlos Rodon, you don't know who the Rodon you're going to get. Garrett Cole has been the only one I think that's been consistent in that rotation. And their bullpen, I mean, they got a pretty good bullpen, but when it comes to their closer, Clay Holmes, he really hasn't done a damn good job. So I think that series can go to all 7 games, either game 6 or game 7. So I'll have Houston in the World Series. And then I went a little bit too much in depth, but for the other ones, Mets and Milwaukee, I got Milwaukee, and San Diego versus Atlanta, I got San Diego. I do see the Padres being the Dodgers again in the ALDS. I got Philly over Milwaukee. This is the part that I was very difficult because both teams are really good. San Diego against the Phillies. The Pods, I got them. The Friar Faithful, as they call them, I have them winning the World Series against the Houston Astros, winning their first World Series in franchise history. Really great team, really great pitching, really great bullpen, especially when you got the hit guy over there, like the hit king and Arise, that's wanted in 3 different teams. Yeah, he's a very tough out. The Astros obviously have faced against the Padres early on back over there in San Diego. They had done a really good job. They're really great games, postseason atmosphere over there. But I do think the Padres, and I do say this, I do think they'll go 6 or 7 games, just like the one I was mentioning with the Yankees.
So I think we're kind of the same into that last game, the World Series game. Houston over Detroit, KC over Baltimore, New York over Baltimore, Houston over Cleveland, and again the rematch the ALCS. I have Houston over New York. That's the American League. Mm-hmm. In the National League, I have Milwaukee over the Mets. Just the Mets, they were lucky enough to save Luis Severino, but I think traveling after a doubleheader, their bullpen's kind of used up too. Mayton pitched in 3 straight games, so I mean it's gonna be pretty tough there. San Diego over Atlanta, just like you said, San Diego really good team. Atlanta really depleted too as well.
Yeah.
I guess San Diego over the Dodgers. I really like San Diego's teams. Philly over Milwaukee, and then San Diego over Philly, and then Houston over San Diego. Just
the Astros over the Pods.
Those teams play each other, but our believer is usually the loser of the regular season series gets avenged in the postseason. So I think that's
very true. That is very true. Just as the Yankees, because the Astros lose to the Yankees every regular season, but when it comes to the postseason, it's a different story. It's a very different story. Do we see a Foot make an appearance in that World Series?
Hopefully not. I'm sure Jose Altuve doesn't appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't think it either. Houston X Factor 10, Houston, Cleveland, Baltimore, Atlanta, and Milwaukee. I don't know if he's projecting that. Maybe that's for the wild card because Houston will have to play Cleveland. I don't think. Yeah, that would have to be wild card for my guess. But Jesus, we did promise y'all 30 to 45 minutes.
We did not fulfill that.
And we did not fulfill that. We did not. Hour and probably going to be 5 minutes. Like Angel had mentioned before in the beginning of the show, make sure you tune in, follow us on YouTube, subscribe button right there. Go get that video like as well. Follow us on our social media platforms from Twitter Instagram, FSA Full Steam Ahead, TikTok as well. We'll be at the ballpark, so we'll be giving y'all the best coverage out of any Astros podcast out there. And for everybody that will not be attending at Minute Maid Park, you can still listen to this episode on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, getting y'all ready for that series against the Astros and Los Tigres, the Detroit Tigers. But Houston X Factor, before we get off, we ready? This is his projection, Angel. Astros beat Skubal tomorrow, and the Astros got it made since the drop-off from Skubal to the rest of the Tigers starters is almost night and day. Got a projection already. Or even a prediction, not projection. Sorry about that. But, Angel, you got anything else before we sign off?
No, just thank you for listening. It was a grind of a season. Thank you for bearing with us. But yeah, thank you for another great year. Postseason baseball's here, so we'll get you those things and appreciate our support.
Yeah, postseason baseball is here, like Angel said, for everybody that has gone through this since spring training, even baseball winter meetings. My gosh, we really and truly appreciate each and every one of y'all that have listened in, tuned in, give us the likes, all that type of stuff. Give us some comments, give us some ratings, all that stuff. We appreciate the feedback. We love giving you the best insight out of any podcast for the Houston Astros. Truly appreciate each and every one of y'all. But I don't know if we're going to do a game-by-game recording. We could, but okay, I already got my partner in crime on that side saying hell no. If we do, I'll let y'all know. And if he doesn't do it, then fuck it, I'll do it. But if not, we appreciate y'all. Maybe the Astros do win that series. Maybe they don't. At the end of the day, we will give you that recap of the American League Wild Card Series. October baseball is here. Let's have fun. Let's get rowdy. Enjoy the last month of baseball as the season does come to an end. But I'll talk to y'all soon and enjoy the rest of y'all day.
Peace.